This is always a problem with government-inspired plans, okay, whether it's Japan or America or Europe or China. I mean, when you have a government-led plan to do anything, the vision of the government is one issue, but the vision and what the companies want to do might not line up and coincide with the two perspectives. Okay, so it's very easy for a government to make a directive. We had one recently in America with the Chips in America Act, where they wanted to bring manufacturing back into the United States. And this latest declaration from a group of companies within Europe is a very government-led declaration. It's not being driven by the companies in Europe. So it's not ST or Infineon or NXP standing up and saying, this is what we want to do. It's the government saying this is the right thing for you to do. It's a little bit like the Chinese 20% program that they want to have more better control of their own chip manufacturing, which actually they're being more successful at this time than they were on the previous attempts at doing that. In the Western democracies, no matter how much the government tells you to do something, they can't force you to do something. So unless the companies want to do it, it won't happen. 3 or 4 years ago, the European Commission had an initiative led by one of their vice presidents called Neelie Kroes, who came up with a plan exactly the same as this one that's being floated today. And that plan was rejected by the European semiconductor companies. They did not want to do it. So whether this plan gets rejected or whether it's just government talking or nice little talking points, it remains to be seen. But my feeling is it won't happen. Of the 3 European companies, I think they have very different strategies, but they have similar markets. The automotive market is very important for Europe because we have companies like Bosch, we have the BMW, we have Mercedes, you have the Volkswagen Group. You have a very significant importance for Europe and its car industry, its automotive industry. It's a major strategic important industry. And so all 3 of the European companies have that as one of their major end markets to go for. But they kind of address different sectors of it. Infineon has done an incredibly good job on the power semiconductor side. They are the world's #1 company. They are producing a lot of power semiconductor products on 300mm wafer substrates. They are leading the world in technology on power semiconductor devices. But even they are running out of capacity. But they can increase that capacity a lot easier than other power semiconductor manufacturers can, because they do at least have a lot of their products on a 300mm platform. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. ST Micro tends to be more in a different segment of that market, but it has a limited 300mm capacity, but it outsources a lot of that work to foundries. A lot of that work is done on their 200mm product lines, which can't be expanded very quickly. So they would be running into that kind of constraint. And NXP these days is mostly foundry oriented as well. So they will be really dependent upon their foundries. Most electric vehicles today are still using conventional MOSFET power devices. The powertrain is slightly different, but those silicon carbide devices are currently being built on 200mm wafers predominantly. They haven't transitioned to 300mm yet. And there's no technical reason why they can't. The physics would work okay. Building the structures across the bigger wafer is okay. There's certainly work that's been done in Europe, in France particular, and Infineon and ST Microelectronics, and Cree in America is doing a lot of work on this. So there's no reason why it can't be done, but the volume isn't there to justify it. Okay, so until you build up a scale, it's pointless making it on a 300mm wafer, because you would not get the efficiency, the manufacturing efficiency, and it wouldn't make technical or economic sense. So it's kind of waiting for that volume to pick up before that transition is actually implemented. And that's kind of a chicken and egg kind of situation. I mean, if you made the move, the volume would pick up, but, it's just a delicate operational balance. It will probably happen next year. I think we'll take off. You'll see 300 millimeter production of these start to grow. But at the moment, 200 millimeter works, and it's good, it's reliable, it's cost effective, it makes sense.